Hey guys, this is Dan with Gears and Gadgets. Thanks for tuning in. So this video is it's actually a continuation of a video that I just dropped before this one on my journey up to Arizona Bike Week. So if you're interested in that, you can head to that video. I'll link it up above over here. Something I always enjoy doing is getting up to Bike Week when I get a chance. But this video, what I really want to talk about is some of what I think kind of sucks about being a YouTuber. Now this is not a woe is me video. YouTube has actually given me a lot of really cool things in my life. It's really provided me the ability to even own this motorcycle, do a lot of things with my truck, meet a lot of really cool people, and honestly the people part of it, whether it be on the subscriber side or the brand side, the people has been by far the coolest component of all of it. But even beyond all of that, it has helped me in my career by getting me into more of the technical side of construction technology, and that's a whole nother talking point for another day. But what I want to talk about is, I guess, some of the pitfalls. And some of the pitfalls are just the continued treadmill of having to pump out content. Now the first thing I want to address is the comments I see anytime a video is published like this. A lot of people will chime in. I only like to watch YouTubers who do it as a hobby. I don't like YouTubers who do it as a business. And I always think that's kind of a little bit of a short-sighted consumer of YouTube mindset, because every creator shares the same component of themselves where they want to make things and share it with the world. And it always starts as a hobby, but I liken it to this. If you're a kid who really enjoys cutting grass, you like getting out there on the weekends and cutting, grass for mom and dad, and then the neighbor next door is like, hey, I'll pay you $5 to cut the grass, and you're like, yeah, sure. And then the other neighbor's like, hey, when you get a chance, can you cut the grass for $5? You're like, yeah, all right, that's great. And then, by the end of summer, you got 20 lawns, but you're only getting $5 a lawn. And that's when you start looking at it going like, hey, I still really love cutting lawns, but I need to raise my prices because I also love my time. And this becomes a real talking point with YouTube, where you start questioning, like, is the time really worth the level of effort that goes into what comes out of it? And we all go through waves. Now what's more concerning to me, like, I've got a 7-year-old at home, and like any kid these days, they see YouTubers, they all think they want to be YouTubers. I think it's awesome that it's opened up this dialogue to creativity. When I was a kid, you would probably get laughed at if you wanted to utilize creativity for an actual income. And now that is no longer laughable. That is actually a true reality. But I would argue that in this world of, hey, you can really do anything you put your mind to, I believe that, wholeheartedly believe that. If you want to be a doctor, you can go through all of these levels of effort, get to med school, graduate, and you will be a doctor. You want to be a lawyer, relatively similar trajectory, you can do that. You want to be, a realtor, a mechanic, there's all these things that if you put your head down and just start doing the work, you will get to where you want to go. Now the creativity side of things, where that gets really interesting, is that there's an unfortunate reality that algorithms then become part of the component. And that is what differentiates one career motivation and the ability as an American to say, hey, the American dream, if you put your head down and you work hard, you can do anything you put your mind to. When you start throwing in algorithms in the mix, there's a little bit more of a lottery component than what exists out there before. Now, sure, anybody can go out there and start a pizza place and make the best pizza that anybody has ever heard of in their entire life. But if the location sucks, you're going to fail. There's always this component that even if you're good at what you're doing, yes, you can fail. But on YouTube, I have seen more, I guess, quote-unquote pizza places with banger pizza that don't get any customers, and that really sucks. So I've noticed, even when I look at like GoPros or audio equipment that I pick up to contribute to better content with all this stuff, I find so many YouTube channels out there with production quality that is out of this world, and they've got like 200 subscribers. And it makes me feel sad for them because it's not their fault. So with YouTube, it takes a boatload of time, a boatload of commitment, but I guess what I'm trying to get at is I think because of the world of algorithms, and I'll get back to that in a moment, but because of the world of algorithms, you would better be suited to go and buy a lawnmower from Home Depot and try to get that landscaping company done. Because, you know, going back to that same analogy and then tying it back to YouTube, there are 0 landscaping companies out there who started out as, you know, just pushing mowers around their neighborhood and then grew it to a multi-million-dollar, whether it be landscaping or site work company, by being terrible at what they do. You only get that big if you really continue putting out quality that is desirable. Now on YouTube, that's absolutely untrue. There are content creators out there that are putting out absolute amazing content that get no views. And then there's other people who just pick up whatever camera they can get their hands on, talk about some super trendy nonsense in a dramatic way. The algorithm throws it up into a recommended channel, and before you know it, there are 100,000 subscribers. That happens. I see it all the time. And I'm not saying they don't deserve it, but I am saying that it's a very unfair situation that people that are putting in the work and pumping out the quality don't get the recommendations. Now, on that same talking point, recommendations. You know, when I first started YouTube 7-8 years ago, whatever it was, the first couple years of that, it was very heavily focused on subscriptions. So if you found a YouTube channel that you liked, you'd hit that subscribe button. When you opened YouTube next time, the videos that you were given were from the people that you had chosen to subscribe to, and the recommendations were basically based on what those were. But now YouTube has changed, so when you open up YouTube, you actually just get a recommendation screen, and they have made the subscriber count really not be a significant measurable component to your success. So I guess what I'm trying to get at is that YouTube is kind of a shit show lottery, and you can be very good at it for a lot of years. There's level of effort you can put in and quality product you can put out and just never gain traction. And that's where I think if you have children that are talking about like, hey, I want to be a YouTuber, absolutely embrace their desire to create, because it's a phenomenal thing. But there's got to kind of unfortunately be another component to it, because you cannot rely as you can on other trades. If you're a good welder, you'll never struggle to find work. You will always make good money because your skill is sought out. If you're good at those kinds of crafts, you will never really struggle for money. So now I'm not saying like I'm out here trying to be a full-time YouTuber, but I'm certainly a YouTuber who's been doing this long enough to have seen success, seen failure, and I think I do have a really good grasp on the holistic thing that is YouTube, and honestly just content creation across many platforms. Now, I would also, I guess, get into like the TikTokification of social media content creation. Unfortunately, that has actually made things worse. So now it's made it worse, honestly, for creators and consumers alike. And unfortunately, because of how much of a dopamine hit, myself included, we all kind of fall into it and just take it for what it is. As content creators, I'll get into first why it's bad. Truth be told, I think that TikTok just makes people famous overnight for nothing. There's basically like one little quippy thing you can do that all of a sudden the internet associates you with. You immediately get typecast into that thing, worse than any actor that's ever existed. And if you try to branch out into something else, those viewers, which can be in the millions, just don't pay attention because they want to see the short little quips that they were used to. And that's unfortunate. So what happens with those creators is they just get typecast into this tiny niche subsegment of their overall personality, and it kind of sucks. I've seen that really kind of make people confused. Unless you're a dancer. Honestly, if you're a dancer and you love dancing, TikTok is the best place to be, because you can dance until your heart desires, and people expect that all the time, and that's fantastic. But the moment that anything becomes like witty, comical, you know, any of those kinds of things, that's very hard to keep on and please an audience aside from just shaking your ass for views, which is also, again, that's fine. Now, on the consumer side, it's also, and I noticed this in comments in the last probably like year to year and a half, somewhere in that range, where I am now seeing comments on long form content like this of evolved stream of conscious, editing out just maybe things that aren't important,
like hiccups,
but the appreciation for long thought out thought process is corrupted by, why would I sit here and listen to this guy talk about you know, vulnerability or things that are going through this person's head, when I can just go over to TikTok and do this and go ha 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 endlessly. It's very hard to compete with. I don't care, because I create content that makes me happy, and the subscribers on this channel that have been here for a long time appreciate that, and I'm happy with that. I don't want people here who are going to leave those kinds of comments, but I do know other creators, if they see that stuff, undoubtedly will be like, man, what am I doing wrong? And you're not doing anything wrong. It's just that TikTok, the TikTokification of short form content has really just kind of become a cancer to people's ability to appreciate longer form type stuff. So I think that the YouTube desire, the I want to be a YouTuber, the I want to be a content creator, I think that in the next coming years is going to get worse before it gets better. And it's sad to me, because I know what goes into this. I love what goes into this. It's not easy. The challenge is awesome, but I guess my overall takeaway from what I'm trying to get across here is that it's not all, you know, sunshine and rainbows as a content creator. And I'm actually starting to suspect that even the content creators that are, you know, well over the 100,000 subscriber mark, even 200,000 subscriber mark, aren't doing nearly as well as you might think that they are, or as much as they are putting out there for you to think they are. I think there is a big misconception about the content creator, I guess, life, income, all those kinds of things. So I don't know, I'm speaking from one person's experience, just trying to share, you know, my lived experience in this very strange world of social media, and thought I would kind of share that with you guys. So we're rolling up to Arizona Bike Week now up at Westworld, and with that being said, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. If you want to see more of Westworld and Arizona Bike Week, again, check out the video I published before this one. And with that being said, thank you guys very much for tuning in. If this is your first time tuning in, please hit that subscribe button down below. Remember, likes go a long way to help support the channel. I will see you guys next time.